Welcome back, everybody. It is 100% pepper season in this household, as can be told by all the stuff on the counter behind me over here. We've got seeds out drying. I've got distilled water bottles. I use distilled water specifically for making hot sauces of a certain type, and one that I started 4 or 5 days ago, something like that. That is fermenting. This lovely mixture here is about half of where I want it to be. I just started it to get everything going, and I'm just going to continue adding fresh stuff as I go. I didn't want to freeze anything this year. I wanted everything to be fresh off the plant, washed, and then thrown into a jar to ferment to see if I can get the best flavor out of it possible. So this is 99% reapers with a couple of ghosts. The long guys there, those are ghosts. There's one ahi pineapple in there and one peach ghost floating around in there somewhere. But it's very active already. The cloudiness at the bottom tells me that there's plenty of action going on in there. Let's see if you can, I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm going to burp it because it hasn't been done all day. Little bit of a sound right there. Yeah, that's the CO2 building up in there, forming a nice protective layer to make sure no mold grows across the top. Once you get past the first couple of days, you don't generally have to worry too much about mold in these, at least in my experience. So that's the sauce that I've started so far. Plenty more to add to it, as I said. But the point of this video is not to show off the sauce. The point of this video is to show off this guy. This is the Bahamian goat. It's not the most perfect specimen. As you can see right here, these little folds, this sort of wants to be pushed in like the 7 pots that I had last year, to where it sort of looks like a mushroom almost. We got the little part sticking out the bottom. But neither of mine so far that have, well, of the ones that are most ripe, these two, neither of them had that phenotype, which is okay. It doesn't really change the flavor. It's just I'm not 100% certain I want to save the seeds from it. I probably will if it's good anyway. It's we're going to go out here, take a look at the plant, but it's one that I've been really looking forward to. It comes highly recommended by many of the seasoned pepper growers. They say that it's one of the most underrated ones out there. All the glory goes to the habaneros and the ghosts and the reapers because of their heat, and the habaneros for their flavor. But this is apparently the hottest thing that grows naturally in the Bahamas. So I don't know if that means it's technically hotter than a habanero, but I'm told that it has that level of heat. We're going to go back in time through I'm not even going to say the magic of television, my magic, because I am magical, magically spicy, and also incredibly lame. We're going to go back in time to earlier today. We're going to check out the plant, and we will be right back. We have done it. We have gone back in time. Here we are, middle of the afternoon, outside, looking at the Bahamian goats. Both of them have pods turning, and I'm super psyched. Pretty average looking chinense plants. Just regular size leaves, nothing extraordinary like the ones on the other side. Very prolific, as we see. Tons of pumpkin shaped bad boys coming down here, and a couple that are turning that beautiful peach color. Overall, it's a pretty healthy plant. Might need to do something about these leaves at the top here. I think they might need some magnesium, so I'll get them with some Epsom salt this weekend. They should be fine. But as we see, still producing greatly. But I think what we're here to see is what these taste like. So let's go inside and find out. Hope you enjoyed. We are back at our normally scheduled time. I just got off work. It's about 3:30 a.m. and I'm actually just firing up dinner over there. I got a pot with boiling water in it, so I'm on a little bit of a limited time here, but that's gonna have to boil for a little bit. It's I'm actually thawing out a chicken breast in there because I want to shred it and make a quesadilla out of it with this guy. But the first thing we're going to do is talk about this. So It's pretty good size. A couple of them out there are a bit bigger than this, but for size comparison, let's just look at, say, oh, actually, that's got a little bit of a soft spot. That's unfortunate, but that's a regular ghost. It's probably about 2 inches. This is the weird Fatale mix that I've got, probably closer to 3 inches. It's probably closest to this Reaper that I have here. That's a pretty good size Reaper, all things considered. But yeah, it's a lot smoother. The color difference, obvious. Got a high heat pineapple here as well. And of course, it's nowhere near the size of this Blossom in Rot Suffering Hangzhou number 9. But this is the one we're here for today. So the Bahamian goat comes from Bahamas. I believe, if I read correctly, it grows there naturally. Capsicum chinense, so you're going to get a very productive plant, probably. Mine seem to be doing quite well. I've only got 2 of them, but if I like the way this turns out, I'll have more next year for sure. The flavor profile is supposed to be fruity. I have not read anyone comparing it to any of the other superhots, which leads me to believe we may have something a little bit different. The problem that I've had with a lot of these videos is many of the superhots taste the same. Many of the less superhots taste the same. They either fall into the 7-pot / scorpion category, where they go down the really fruity flavors, or the floral flavors, or they go into the habanero side of things, where they've got the more citrus flavors. I'll say that most unique by far goes to the ahi pineapple. This one actually has a very distinct citrus flavor, not at all like the habaneros do. I don't know why I'm holding this up saying habanero. This is not one that I know. We'll see. I'm taking precautions on this one. I had just a regular old hot pepper a couple of weeks ago, and I was hating myself for it. And did a bug? No, it's not a bug. Okay, never mind. Piece of like lint or something fell into my ice cream. That's right, got a fresh old tub of ice cream here, just in case. I shouldn't need the whole gallon. I'm not going to eat the whole gallon, but we are going to take a bite of this bad boy. Don't know how far back the seeds are, but everything sort of said that they're all right up near the end. It's easy to cut in half, scoop them out if you don't need them in anything. We're just going to take a bite as is. I have rinsed it off. It should be good to go. Here goes a nothing. Got to talk myself into this. I'm not going to eat the whole pod. I'm just not. Can't do it. I've done too much of that. That sounds like it's about to boil over. 1 second. Good call. Got there just in time. So, okay. The moment we've all been waiting for. Let us test the Bahamian goat. Oh, wow. That's interesting. This really seriously might be It's definitely closer to the scorpion flavor, where you get that immediate, you're like overwhelmed with, it's like you just ate a flower, but in a good way. It's sweet for sure, with a slow heat. It's very mild for all that time that I was, just before I said slow heat, it just started to build up a little bit. I feel a little bit of ramp coming up here, but the flavor was, it was almost a cross between a habanero and the scorpion flavor. So it's almost like right down the middle. The first instant I bit into it, I was like, this is going to be like a habanero. And then I chewed a couple more times and said, no, this is a little bit the other way. This is a totally manageable level of heat, though. I read that this was going to be like habanero level, but I don't even think it's that high. You can tell it's not absurd because I'm going back for more. Now, from what I'm looking, I have bitten into a little bit of the placenta around the seeds. So I am going to get some of that intense heat, but not quite as much as if I went to the very end. Obviously, these get much hotter, but if I compare them all the same way, I can still get a pretty good guesstimate as to what they're going to be like. Because of the way I bit it, it's on my lip a lot, but it's a full mouth, all the way across the top of the tongue, over back into the throat, just a little bit. A very manageable heat. This is not as stingy as, I'm actually starting to sweat a little bit. That might be because I'm talking too. I'm so out of shape I sweat when I talk. No, it's not the stinging heat that comes with some of the annuums like Tabascos and just the searing burn of a habanero. This is nothing at all like that. This is a mellow burn. Probably most similar to maybe one of the 7-pots that I had last year. It's a little more than the 7-pot yellow, but I think my 7-pot yellows were milder than they tend to be normally. I don't actually need anything for this. I could just wear this off as is. It's already on its way down. This is really good. This has by all means lived up to the hype. The flavor is great. It's not as unique as this one. It is, like I said, it's almost a cross between two others. I mean, who knows? This could be a cross between a 7-pot and a habanero, like in that, or a cross between a scorpion and a habanero that occurred naturally. But I don't know. Definitely has that super hot aroma to it. It's like, it's confusing my brain. My brain wants this to be much hotter than it is because I'm smelling it and my brain immediately knows, oh God, overload. But it's not bad. I'd say the heat has already mellowed out to jalapeno level at this point. God, I'd put that at like a 5. Maybe a 5. This ranks there with some of the with the Thai hots, but less stingy because those annuums, they have this real tendency to give you kind of like a painful burn. This doesn't have that. It's definitely warm, and someone who's less of a chili head would probably say that it's, you know, a scorcher. But in comparison to the others that I've had, it's not nearly the same level. And the flavor is just great. I'm really glad that I actually spent the money on these seeds. I tried not to spend a lot of money on seeds. I went and got pods from a local grower and then used the seeds from that for the most part. But then last year, at the end of the year, I ordered a few and got a bunch extra, as you might have seen in my earlier videos. This is one, nose is running. This is one that comes highly recommended from me. Now, I recommend a lot of them, and I know that I say that they're all good, but this is probably in now my top 5 of all time. Simply because it's got the great flavor that I want from the super duper hots, but it doesn't have the burn that makes it to where it's unenjoyable unless you use it in something so big that it takes all the flavor away. Like, I will put 1 Reaper in a big pot of spaghetti. It spices the spaghetti up a little bit, but it doesn't taste. You don't taste it at all because it's just this little tiny bit, and they're very thin-walled. Speaking of, this one's a little bit thicker walled than the Reaper. It's closer to a habanero in wall thickness, and nice firm shell. Yeah, this was great. I will be growing these again 100%. And because this one was right in the center of the plant, I'm probably going to save the seeds for this one. They look like they're fairly healthy, at least a good portion of them are. We'll see, one way or another. I'm growing more of these next year. I'll try and isolate some, but if I don't, I'll have those just in case. So there you have it. 100% recommended by me. If you have a chance to grow the Bahamian goat, you definitely should. I believe that's all I've got for you in this particular video. I saw a couple out there turning. The Mako Koku has a red one on the plant. It's almost fully ripe. Looking forward to that. That one is a nice African import. and probably see a video on that in the next couple of days. Gonna have to add a couple of these to this just for color. So, I'm gonna cut this video here. I'm going to finish making my din din with my other Bahamian goat. This truly could be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Not heat-wise, though. It's not the greatest heat-wise. That probably still goes to the Reaper. Cutting it here. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next episode. That one's probably going to be damn hot. We'll find out. I'll see you then.